Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
It's time! 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Open! Chicago with the lead! Harper got a piece of it. It comes off. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
To the far side around the 8-yard line to Hester. Under it and to the middle with the 15 to the 20. Breaks free to the 25 to the 30 to the outside. 40 midfield. 40 30 to the coast. 20 15 Hester 5. Oh! Touchdown!
Slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it in front of Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this House Music Monday edition. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Make sure you go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. But also make sure you follow Sports Zone. You also follow Shawn and Maya in the morning, our Facebook page as well. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, but also click the notification button. That's the bell next to it. That'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. If you're watching this on our Roku channel, I like that kind of party, baby. All right. We have our own Roku channel. Okay. If you have a Roku television in the house, do us a favor. Download Sports Zone Chicago's channel to your television. I put it there next to Netflix, Hulu, Max, Disney Plus, all the good stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I got to check out The Chi. It's on Showtime. Forgot. Whoo. All right. Anyway, download it. You can watch it on the big screen. Hell, run the big screen, right, Mickey, Ficky, now. You can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Chi. That's CHI at Sports Zone Chi. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, you want to know what I did? Well, let me tell you what I did. I made it nice and easy for you, folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow our lovely co-host Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. And if you want to follow her on Instagram because you're an IG and you do it just for the gram, well, just follow her at Maya_Akai. That's MAYA_AKAI. Yeah, we got a great show, but I need you to get it interactive. Whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or our mobile app, leave a question or comment on that platform. It'll come up here in the thread. We'll put it on the screen and we'll incorporate it into the show. And that, my peoples, is what makes this the best morning Chicago sports talk show around. And that's you, baby. So bring them all. Questions, comments, smart ass remarks, because ain't nobody scared over here. And like The Rock said, baby, don't sing it, just bring it. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Yeah, it was a rough weekend for us, man. What's up, Cornelius? What's up, sports owners? Yeah. So a lot of you guys are all crossovers. You know, either you came from Nomad Network and you watch me here now, or you see me on the Nomad Network, or you're my original sports owners and you follow me when I do work with Nomad. Our producer, with Nomad, Chris Washington, or C Sharp as you call it. You would see Counterclockwise Productions. That was his production company. He passed away Saturday. To say it was a shock is an understatement. I was floored by the news. I was floored by the news. And, you know, it still hurts. You see, and my relationship with him wasn't as deep or as long as Nomad's was. I mean, him and Nomad had been rocking together for over a year, and putting the network together and doing all the things that Nomad wanted to do. But he and I, we had a relationship. We had talked about some other stuff and just a lot of other stuff. We're older, and so we just got life stuff to talk about. And my heart goes out to Nomad, because I know when he found out, that it shook him, and he's still shook, and understandably so. And this is why, and I know it sounds corny and it sounds whatever, but this is why I tell you. This is why I always tell you guys. I say at every show, make sure you call someone and text them, tell them you love them, tell them you're thinking about them. Leave a voice memo, something. You never know when the last time that you're going to speak to somebody is, and we didn't know, we weren't ready, and we didn't know, and we had just done a show on Friday, Friday afternoon at 3, and then Nomad did another show with him later that evening. Man, everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago sends their thoughts, their prayers, their condolences to the family of C Sharp, of Chris, because man, it like I said, it hurt. It's hurt, not hurt. It's hurting. It's hurting. It's hurting. Okay. So there'll be no Nomad show today. Our daily Bears talk, we won't do that today. That'll be, we're going to resume on Wednesday. That should be at 1:00, 1:00 Central. But it's hurt. Again, it's hurting us. It's man, it hurts, man. I don't even know what to tell you. So but we got a show to do here, and we definitely will miss him. And excuse me. And man, it's tough. It's tough when someone dies, and it's tough when someone dies, or someone close to you dies. And it's been rough for us. All the guys over, the panel and the guys in the back office, and but we got to keep moving. We have to move forward. All right, we have to move forward. Let's see who else. Be Smooth, what's up, buddy? How are you? Yeah, it should be 1:00, I think, on Wednesday, not 3. All right. My man Armando Emeterio Olada Jr., he's in the house. What's up, Papa? Thank you for tuning in. Plank's in the house. Good morning, baby. Bear down. That's what I'm talking about. Michelle Walls, House Music Monday morning. You see it. You know. You already know. You already know. And yeah, dude, they gave us Sunday burpees yesterday. And they're broad jump burpees. So you did a burpee, you jumped up, and then you jumped out. It was nutso. Nutso. Oh, I don't know what that was. It was crazy, man. I was like, and the thing about it was we had 90 seconds. 90 seconds of work and 30 seconds of rest. It was crazy. So yeah, Sunday burpee broad jumps were not nice, Michonne. Not nice at all. Not nice at all. Yeah, it was crazy, but it was a good way to start the week. It's a good way to start the week. I was sweating like a sweater yesterday. What was that? Yeah. Let's see who else we got in the show. Plank. We mentioned Plank. I said hello to Plank. I'll say hello to Plank again. Plank. Man, Luis Mejia in the house. Good morning, Papa. Rise and grind. How you doing? King Book of World in the house. What's up, Papa? How you doing? That's what I'm talking about. Man. Luis, Denver lost all their nuggets. Plank, what's up, Bob? I'm training a new hire today, so I'll be listening. Bear down. Rest in peace, C Sharp. Man. Oh, damn. Man. I'm sorry to hear that, King Book of World. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're gonna dedicate this show to C Sharp. You know, he was a good dude, man. And like I said, I had a lot of conversations with him, not about sports. It was about life, about a whole bunch of other stuff. And yeah. James Ford, good morning, Papa. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Yeah, Zachqua, what's up? Easy, what's up? Good morning, Papa. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Jay Grizz in the house. What's up? That's what we're talking about. Yeah, it was a rough one for us, man. It was a rough one, you know. And again, for those of you who are just checking in, you know, you catch our daily Bears talk with SuperBack and Nomad and the crew. And our producer, if you see on the screen, our producer, Chris C. Sharp, passed away on Saturday. So it's a rough one. I know I don't have all the energy that I usually do. You know, part of it is I had a horrible night sleeping last night. Had a crazy workout this morning, and still trying to process this whole thing, you know, of C Sharp being gone, of Chris being gone, and so I try to give it. I don't have as much energy as I normally do. You know, I'm usually fired up, especially on a Monday to start the new week, and new week, new beginnings, new opportunities. You know, but this one is just yeah, it's a little tough for me today. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna talk. Got a lot of sports to talk. Man, we got a lot of sports to talk. All right, so we got my White Sox back where they belong. After the Yankees put them in check. Cubs had a rough weekend. Sky got their first win. We got Bears talk. Man, so we got a lot to talk. We got a golfer getting arrested. You know, the golf. And this is the funny thing about the golfer. It was such a privileged thing to do. What happened, and he got busted, and they didn't give a damn who he was. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, but let me give you the line. At 10 o'clock, my man Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net's going to join us. And I think this is what we need. We need to talk sports. We need to have a good laugh, because, you know, like if you're privy to the conversations we had pre-show and post-show on our daily Bears talk with Nomad and the crew, like Chris is a ball buster. He was hilarious. He's a funny freaking guy, and you know, I know he'd want us to keep laughing and keep moving, and you know, and keep the show rolling. So, you know, he's a funny dude. He's a funny dude, and you just think of the stories and you smile, and you know, sometimes those stories stop you from crying, you know, because you're laughing. And man, we had so many crazy stories. like I said, before the show or after, usually after the show, because we were together a lot longer, like an hour. Sometimes we stay on an hour after the show in the green room just talking and just talking, either busting on each other or just telling crazy stories. So it yeah, let's get to some sports. Let's get to some sports. So Ron Luce from the On Tap Sports Net is going to join us at 10 o'clock, and he's going to talk Bears with us. We're excited, man. I'm excited. He's excited. I want to see how the people over there at On Tap Sports Net, their thought process on it. And it's going to be I just can't wait. I can't wait, man. It is something else. The excitement is here. But you know what? The expectation is here. The excitement's here, but that happens every year, you know? And some people say, well, it's different this time. Okay, maybe. But the excitement is still here, like it is every year. All right, you mean to tell me the excitement wasn't here in 2019 when Mitch Trubisky's coming off his 2018 season? You know? Excitement wasn't here coming into last offseason once Justin Fields when they hope to expand his role and make him a better passer or give him more weapons to allow him to be a better passer. All right. So the excitement's here again. And some people say it's different. Some people are saying, well, you know what? It's the same thing. This is the third time in a row. Third time in the last, 5 years. So we'll see. But the excitement's here. All right. So we're going to talk to Ron Luce on the other side. I mean, at 10 o'clock. So make sure you tune in. All right. And again, I know I say it a lot, but make sure we're a lot of us, and the cool part about it is a lot of people in here in the chat are older. All right, we're not in our 20s. Some people are not in their 30s. All right, you're in your 40s and 50s, and some older than that. All right, and so this is why I tell you, most shows, like at the end, make someone smile. Send a text to a person that you care about. Send a voice memo because it's important. It's really, really important. And this weekend, King Booker World, as you just said, you lost someone else too. Just like, we lost our friend Chris. It's important, man. It's important. I know I talk sports and we love doing it, but outside of sports is real life. And then we got to make sure that we handle that. We handle that business as well. All right. But guys, you know how we do. You know what? We only got a couple minutes left. We only got a couple minutes before we got to go to break. So I don't want to start top of the morning and basically do one topic and then go to commercial break. So what I'll do is we're going to talk a little bit about the golfer, because to me that's the funniest thing. So technically it's the top of the morning topic. So here's what we'll do. We'll do it. We'll start with this one and then we'll finish up with the rest of them, the Sox, the Cubs, the Sky. You know how we do. The first segment is always top of the morning.
It won't come just when you want it. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
So we're going to start off with this one because this one is funny as all get out. Funny as all get out. The reigning Masters champion. So it wasn't just a golfer. All right. Masters champion. He's the number one golfer in the world. Got his picture taken this weekend. I'm going to take this down for a second. This is Scotty Scheffler. Okay. This is Scotty Scheffler. And the situation was there was an accident in front or right by the golf turn, right by the golf course. All right. And he's the number one ranked golfer in the world. And he ignored a police officer's direction to stop his car outside of Valhalla Country Club down in Louisville, where the PGA was at. So apparently, and this is according to Rick Morrissey in today's Sun Times. That's what I'm reading. I'm looking at. I'm referencing. So the bus had hit and killed a pedestrian earlier. The traffic was snarled as police processed the scene of the accident. So Scheffler said his confrontation with the police officer was a communication breakdown on a rainy, chaotic morning. Police said he willfully ignored directions and tried to drive around the traffic toward the entrance of the club. Okay. Well, what he's not saying is Rick Tellender's not saying is he said it earlier. I guess the guy tried to stop him or something, or maybe I'm not sure if he put his arm in the car or what he did, the officer. But he kept driving, so he dragged the cop a little bit. I don't know how. See, when you say, and here's how you can embellish, or here's how the mind works. When you say, let me take his picture down. Take his mugshot down. When you say drug the cop, you're thinking, oh, he drug him like half a mile, and he's trying to fight, and he's just sliding. All right. I don't know how that situation arose, how it came about. Maybe he drug him 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, 50 feet. I don't know. But once that happens, even if he slides a little bit and you're holding, he technically did drag you. So they're going to say he dragged the cop. So I don't know how far he dragged him, but his ass went to jail. And what was really funny is he tried to explain that. He said, hey, well, I'm the number one golfer in the world. And they're like, and we told you to stop. And they arrested him. And then a reporter came over and said, hey, that's the number one golfer in the world. And the cops were like, yeah, and he's going to jail. So here's the officer involved was treated for abrasions. His pants reportedly were torn while he was being dragged by Scheffler's car. Okay, so definitely drove him tens of feet, maybe 20 feet, maybe 30 yards. Because if you're dragging, it doesn't take long to scrape your pants and rip your pants. It wouldn't. But so a reporter saw him and said, hey, that's Scotty Scheffler, the number one golfer in the world. And they cuffed Scotty, and the cop's like, I don't care. He's going to jail. There's nothing you can do about it. So they took him to jail. He was arrested, booked. You saw his mugshot. And 4 hours later, he made his tea time. He made his tea time. So the question is this. All right, you're down in Louisville, Kentucky. I wouldn't say it's the South, but you've been getting pretty damn close. And they don't like outsiders coming in thinking they can run shit. Okay? I know, don't get me wrong, they love it when they come and they spend money for the Derby. They love when they come and spend money for the PGA Championship. But don't come in here and tell us how to do our thing. So my question is, do they drop the charges? Do they, take it to court and have it gone? Does he get leniency from the court? How does this play out? That's what I'd love to see. Or that's what I can't wait to see. How is this going to work for him? We can only wait and find out, because that's going to be something interesting. And I'm really interested, just because of so many different factors. Yes, Perlissimo, you know exactly. It's just, we know how that would. You're darn right. We know how that would. And that's why I said it's not the South, but it's pretty close. Yeah, I don't know, buy his way, but he might have some leniency. You know what I mean? He might have some leniency. He got a mugshot. Yes, he does. The cop who arrested him and caused the issue apparently didn't have his body cam turned on. Gee, there's a shocker. And if it was a black golfer, body cam definitely would not have been turned on. Oh man. We had to talk about that story because I just thought it was hilarious. I thought my man pulled the old, but I'm the number one golfer in the world. And they're like, I told you to stop. I told you to stop. Junior, PGA is going to make donations to the Louisville Police Department. You know they will. For the hard men and women, his donation for our support of the hard men and women who support and protect this city, even though our members drag them by a crime scene. We'd like to smooth over. I mean, apologize. I mean, oh man, I would love. Where's the video? We got to go on Twitter or something. Someone had to have a video. There's too many people around. Everyone's got a camera. There's too many people for it not to get caught on video. We got to see that. We got to see that. I got to see the cow getting dragged. And so there's a video of him because someone was, I was having this conversation yesterday or 2 days with my guy Mark. And he was like, "Did you see the guy?" He's like, "The guy was shitting bricks." He's like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" He thought he was going to get locked up and the key thrown away. Oh, so now you know how it feels. Now you know how it feels. Like I didn't do anything. Oh my goodness. I gotta see. We have to catch. I gotta look for the film and catch it because that's hilarious. But listen, let's take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we'll have more top of the morning topics. I love his mugshot. And more top of the morning topics. Don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Time out. How are you feeling right now? Happy? Excited? Angry? Overwhelmed? One of the best things you can do for your mind health is to name what you're feeling. It can sharpen your awareness and help you talk about your feelings with someone you trust. Here are 3 questions to ask yourself. Where are your thoughts right now? In the past, the present, the future? Do you notice any sensations in your body? Is your heart beating fast? Is there a flutter in your stomach? Or are you fully relaxed? What do you need right now? Time with others? Time to yourself? Remember, there's power in this awareness. So find ways to identify what you're feeling today.
Hi, guys. Hey. Hi, Megan. Hey, Jessica. Megan, you're a tramp. Ryan Fitch told me you guys made out. Everybody knows. He said your breath smells like garbage. And he almost puked. He says you're the most desperate girl he knows, besides your mom. How many boyfriends does she have anyway? Lots? Your makeup makes you look like a clown. That zit is huge, zit face.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
A swing and a miss, strike 3. McCutcheon stranded at first base. We head to the left.
Mike Togman.
Fly ball hit to deep right. Giving chase is McCutcheon. He looks up and this bangs off the ivy. Togman on his way to third. And he's going to get in there, sliding in with a triple.
First hit of the day belongs to Mike Togman. Ball game.
Looped into center, and this will be caught by Sawinski, tagging him, coming home. Togman throw offline, tie ball game. Payoff pitch. High fly ball hit to deep left center field. Going back, Joe's at the track now, coming in, makes the catch. Tagging and coming home is Suzuki. He scores, and the Cubs are within 1.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of the Marquee Network. And that's where we'll start. We'll start with that. The Cubs with a tough one. The Cubs with a tough one. They fall to the Pirates 3-2 yesterday. And, yeah. It was a tough one. Tough one for the Northsiders. All right, Jameson Tyone, he got the loss. He's 3-2 on the season. He went 4 2/3, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 punch outs. Cody Bellinger was 1 for 4 with a double, his 7th. Okay. Christopher Morel and Mr. Outcast himself, Heiya Suzuki, drove in the RBIs. Morel was his 33rd of the season, and Suzuki with his 16th of the year. Well, the next top of the morning topic, the White Sox. Yeah, they did it, baby. They got put back in their place. The White Sox get swept by the New York Yankees, by the Evil Empire, after losing 7-2 on Sunday in the Boogie Down Bronx. Chris Flexing got the loss. He's 2-4 on the season, 4 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs, a walk, 4 punch outs. Wow. Jokes, excuse me. He was 2 for 3 with a homer, his first of the season, driving in his first RBI of the year. He also had a home run. He took away a home run. Was that yesterday? Unbelievable, beautiful home run stealing catch. Zach Remillard was 1 for 4 with a triple, his first. He drove in the other run, his first RBI of the season, as well as Jokes. The White Sox were in a tough. Going to the Evil Empire, Carlos Rodon, former White Sox pitcher, was dealing. He just mowed us down. It wasn't even funny. But no rest for the weary. The White Sox traveled north of the border to face the Blue Jays in Toronto. First pitch today is at 2:07 p.m. Central Time. You can catch that game on NBC Sports Chicago or listen to it on their flagship station, AM 1000. Eric Betty's on the bump for the good guys. He's 4-0 with a 2.60 ERA going up against Jose Berrios. On the bump for the Jays, he's 4-3 on the season with a 2.82 ERA. So can the White Sox right themselves? I mean, they just got their asses kicked in the Bronx. Can they right the ship? I don't know. You know, with that 3-game losing streak, the getting swept in the 3 games in the Bronx, the White Sox are back under 300 for the season. Their win percentage is .298, and they are back to being the worst team in baseball, but only by a game. They're a game out. They're 14-33 in Miami with Tim Anderson, who's doing a rehab stint after his bad back. He's 15. The Miami Marlins are 15-33, so only one more win. But as of today, the White Sox still have the worst record in baseball. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. You guys are crazy. I love it. Yeah, Skeens had a nice game yesterday. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, you're going to deal with it, Grizz, Jay Grizz, just like I got to deal with talking about my White Sox. You're going to deal with this shit too. You're going to deal with it, damn it. That's funny. The next time on the topic. Oh, the sky over the weekend on Saturday. You know it, baby. The sky with get the win, get the dub in the Big D. See, the D is Detroit, the Big D is Dallas. So in the Big D, Dallas, Texas, among other things, but we're not going to go there. The Sky beat the Dallas Wings 83-74 to get their first win of the season. Diamond the Shields led the way with 16 points. Marina Mabry, 14 points. Dana Evans, 12 points. And our girl, Chi-Town Barbie, Angel Reese, 11 points. Man, it was so good to see. Man, to get that off their back, it was awesome. To get that off their back, because it's tough. You know, you're trying to get you're trying to get your first win for a couple of reasons. One, start the season right. You want to get your first win of the season. But two is also going to be Teresa Witherspoon's first win of her career as a coach of the Sky. They got the dub for her, which I thought was awesome. I'm very happy about that. You know what? Let's check out some of the highlights from this.
Boy, Brown just got picked big time by Williams. Williams then posts up and got it. Great job and a veteran move by Elizabeth Williams.
Great tap out by Natasha Howard to find Seth for a wide open three. And you know that had to feel good for her coming into this game.
How about Dana Evans? Hit 42 threes last year, drains that one.
Back to Jaylen Brown wearing the mask. And for a player who has never really had to play in a mask, like, you gotta know there has to be some type of an adjustment, right? It's uncomfortable. Spacing, understanding when to give it to her. So all she had to do was catch it and just lay it up.
Williams pull up, rolls it over the front of the rim.
And those videos courtesy of the Marquee Network. That game was on the Marquee on Saturday. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I don't know if you saw, keeping it in WNBA news. This is not a top of the morning topic, but it's worth talking about. The Indiana Fever played the New York Liberty on Saturday. Sold out crowd, 17,000 people in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. 17,000 people. Are you freaking kidding me? 17,000 people in Brooklyn to see the New York Liberty and the Indiana Fever. Now, there's been a lot being said, and everybody's saying, hey, you know, you're watching Caitlin's tough start, okay? But you have to remember, here's the situation for Caitlin. All right, let's think about the way this plays out for any other sport. We'll go to the men's league, okay? Let's go when the men get drafted, okay? You got March Madness, okay? Then you go to the draft camp, all right? They were here, last week, 2 weeks ago in Chicago? Last week. You know, we're looking at Bronny James and all these guys. So they go from the Final Four or from March Madness, the tournament, to the draft camp. Now, all the kids who are young men who didn't make the Final Four or the championship game, okay, they had more time to prep. Then you have the draft coming up. All right, this month? No, June. All right, so you're March, April. You have the draft, the draft camp. All right. No, May. We're in May. So we're in May. In June, you have the draft. And guess what? You don't play until you report it August, September. Okay. So we're in May or June, you get drafted, July and August. You have 2 months. You have 2 months from that particular point. Okay. You have 2 months and you can train. You can, try and find a new house or a new place to live in a new town. Get acclimated with your new situation. Let's look at the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camila Cardozo. They all went to the Final Four, championship game for some of them. Okay? That happened in March, end of March, so beginning of April. 2 weeks later, they had the draft. 2 weeks later, they're in camp. 2 weeks later, they start the season. So within a month, so in about they go from Final Four, NCAA championship game to preseason games. There's no training time allowed at all. At all. Can you imagine if that happened in the NFL? Think about it. You play a bowl game January 1st, leading up to January 1st, and then your season starts and you report to training camp February 15th. So I'm not worried about Caitlin Clark. Okay, give her one full off season, give her a chance to get stronger, give her a chance to get acclimated to the WNBA. It's okay. I'm good with it. It sucks because they show every move she makes is under a microscope. But that's what happens when you are the face of the league. And yes, she is the face of the league. And people may not like it. And some people have an issue because she's white. Man, get over that and get on board with Caitlin Clark. She's brought eyes to the WNBA. Understand her and some of the other rookie classes are the reason, especially her, but some of the other rookies are the reason that games have been moved to venues like the Barclays Center, selling out the Barclays Center, 17,000 plus for the New York Liberty. Ticket sales have gone through the roof. Indiana ticket sales, you can't get season tickets anymore. It's crazy. All the games, or I shouldn't say you can't get tickets to the games. Now they're on the secondary market at a premium. When they go on the road, whenever the Indiana Fever goes away, those tickets are sold out immediately. They sold out immediately after they drafted her. And did you buy your WNBA League Pass? I did. I watched one game on it so far, and that was the Sky's first one. I think it was still a preseason game. But it doesn't matter. Support these ladies. Support these ladies. You talk about, you get these people who are, oh, man, the pay is crazy. They should be paid the same. Shut the hell up. Bellissimo. He did. Very nice, sir. I love it. I love the fact that just give her time. I love the fact that Caitlin Clark is, and here's the thing. She's a baller. She's not complaining. You haven't heard one thing from Caitlin Clark. She's a baller. She knows. She knows. She knows she hasn't had time to know off season. She understands it. That's cool. And then also Skip what was this the other Jamoke? Colin Coward said something that I agree with. Now there's a shocker. But he said, why Caitlin Clark against two of the teams with two of the best defensive teams start the season? And I get it. Like, why would you do that? So you're shutting down. So some people are already jealous of her because of the hype she has coming in. And I get it. I understand. I understand why some people will be jealous. I get it. But don't do that to her. You do that to her, you're putting this young girl with no training camp, a whirlwind of a month, of 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. And you put her against the top two defensive teams in the WNBA with two of the top defensive stoppers in the WNBA who've had their offseason. And you're gonna do it like that? Like, come on, man. So if she had started off against a lesser team without a stud defensive stopper, and she drops 20, 25. See how it keeps going? See how the legend goes? And now more people are going to want to see her. Now more people are going to want to see her. Now more people are going to want to see her. And it's bringing more and more and more eyes to the sport. But again, I agreed with Colin Coward about that. Like, yeah, you should have put her with a little less, and maybe the team was, maybe the schedule was made already. But when you knew the Fever had the number one pick, you knew they were going to take Caitlin Clark. I don't know when the schedule was released, because if it was released after that, then shame on the WNBA. If it was released before that, well, then it's tough to kind of argue that point. But Caitlin's going to do well. She's a baller, man. She's a hooper. She's going to make adjustments, and pretty soon she's going to start knocking down them threes. She's going to start winning games. She's going to start. That's cool. But let's not hate. Let's stop hating on her, man. Stop hating on her. The next top of the morning topic, man, this is a good one. Eastern Conference Finals are set. Game 1, Indiana at Boston on Tuesday, 7 p.m. I'm not sure what channel that's on. I don't know if it's ABC or TNT. This is coming after a phenomenal. When I say phenomenal, I mean phenomenal game. Game 7, as a matter of fact, yesterday. There were 2 Game 7s. But a phenomenal Game 7. Where'd you go? And let me tell you something. Indiana was ready. Indiana was ready. This was one heck of a game. The team that the Knicks were, and I loved it because I love New York fans. I love to talk shit to them. They love talking shit to us. It's fine. It's back and forth. It's cool. Tyrese Halliburton, he led the way with 26 points. All right. And unfortunately, Jalen Brunson, who's the star of the New York Knicks, broke his left hand late in the third quarter, and he was gone. That obviously affected the outcome. It wasn't as if they started losing when Jalen went out. All right, Indiana had a 20-point lead at one point in the first half, and the Knicks came back and they had it to like 5 or 6. And man, the Garden was rocking. It was crazy. So they had they had Marcus Camby there. They had Grandmama Larry Johnson there. They had a whole bunch of ex-Knicks there, except Charles Oakley. He's not allowed in the stadium. Oh, that's another story for another time. And the stars are out. John McEnroe was there. Jon Stewart was there. Spike Lee was there as usual. The guy from Law and Order SVU, he was there. So star-studded crowd at Madison Square Garden yesterday, and Indiana goes in there and beats them. So now they're moving on to face the number 1 seed Boston, the Boston Celtics. Wicked Pissa over there in the Garden. Wicked Pissa. And that game is Tuesday, 7 o'clock. And then the Western Conference Final. Last top of the morning topic. The Western Conference Final is set. Game 1, Minnesota at Dallas, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. I'll get back to you on Wednesday as to what channel it's on. But this was a game. This is the second game of the night. Man, Karl Anthony Towns had 23 points, 12 rebounds. Jaden McDaniels had 23. Okay. And the way that the Minnesota Timberwolves went into Denver, 5,280 feet in the air. Pretty dope jerseys. And beat the defending champions. And Anthony Edwards didn't have a great game. Did not have a great game. He finished with a decent amount, with a decent scoreline, but he didn't have a great game. This is where Cat comes in. Karl Anthony Towns, as I said, 23 points. McDaniels with 23 points. The team helped. Jamal Murray at 35. The Joker at 34, 19 for Denver, but it wasn't enough. So the Western Conference Finals are set. Minnesota at Dallas starting Wednesday. And I love it. They alternate. So you get one good basketball game a night. Eastern Conference, Western Conference, Eastern Conference, Western Conference. They alternate. I love it. Whew. Man, that was dope. Watching that game last night, and when Denver tried to make a run, Ant-Man was on fire. And he may even be the face of the league at this particular point. He may be the face of the league. Well, listen. It's stupid. Timberwolves bit off the Nuggets. They bit off Denver's Nuggets. That's dope, Luis. Yeah, Ant-Man. You know what's so funny is I just started, because I don't follow the NBA much. And everyone had talked about Ant-Man last year, probably the last couple of years. And I'm like, oh, okay, Ant-Man, whatever, Ant-Man. I started watching them this season. I'm like, oh, snap, Ant-Man. Anthony Edwards is the real deal. But anyway, listen, we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears a little, talk Bears football with my man Ron Luce from the On Tap Sportsnet. Because the Bears' number 1 overall draft pick was out in Cali over the weekend. Throwing a ball around, decked out in his Bears uniform, doing some promo stuff. A whole bunch of rookies were out there. So we're going to talk to him, get his thoughts on the new era for Chicago Bears football. So don't go anywhere, folks. My man Ron Luce is up next. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Every day, we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Pair of homers, reach base 5 times.
Rolls over, ground ball to Vaughn, flip to Flexen, and that'll be an out as Anthony Volpe advances to third.
Yankees on the board here in the first. What a pitch from Flexen, freezing him with a changeup, and there's 2 down.
Little wrinkle, righty on right changeup.
Alex Verdugo with 2 outs. Shallow left field, charging his jokes, and he will get there to make the catch and end this first inning.
On Friday,
Jokes with a jolt out to left. Hello! Get the party started in the second. Corey Jokes, his first home run of the season. It comes here in the Bronx as the White Sox take a 1-0 lead.
First home run as a White Sox. I mean, he absolutely pummeled this ball, and no doubter to left field. Fastball, inner third, and he just takes it and says, "I'll see you later."
Yeah, that's one of the only highlights in that clip, courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Yeah, one of the only highlights for the White Sox. They got put back in their place quickly. Quickly. You blink, like, whoa. The Yankees were like, boop. Sit your ass down. Boop. A 3-game win streak, that's cute. Sit down. Take these whoopings. Oh, man. Well, my first guest, I'm excited to talk to him. You've seen him on here before. He's been rocking with us for years, and I love bringing him on. Whether we talk Cubs, whether we talk Blackhawks, or whether we talk Bears, he is multi-dimensional. You can talk it all, and I like it. I like it a lot. He's from the On Tap Sportsnet. You can find him on Twitter at Luce. That's Luce. Luce on Tap. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Ron Luce. Ron, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
Good morning, Shawn. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. A little tired. A rough weekend, but I'll make it. So, Yeah, little day drinking yesterday. A good friend of ours, so the producer in the other show that I do, he passed away on Saturday, and man, I found out Saturday night. I was like, what? Yeah, it was. It hit me like a sledgehammer, man. And I did some day drinking yesterday, and tough CrossFit workout this morning, and I was like, so after the show, man, after I got to go pick up my mom, the warden, I got to go pick her up from CrossFit when I'm done at this show. I think your boy's taking a nap. It's been a long weekend, dude.
I respect that. Well, my condolences. It's always hard to lose a friend. So,
Thank you.
But it sounds like it was a good day, at least on Sunday, in terms of celebrating the memories and celebrating the life. So that's what
Yeah, it was. It was. It really, really was. So yeah. So you and I we've talked Cubs, we've talked Hawks. Now we get to talk Bears.
Oh yeah.
All right. Give me your thoughts. So Caleb is obviously Caleb was drafted. He's QB1. His boy Roma Dunze was drafted. He's wide receiver 3, wide receiver 1C. You want to go? Some people say that.
I like that.
How are you feeling about this overall draft class? We haven't talked about the draft. How do you feel? We don't even. This is a draft. We'll talk about those first 2 picks and then maybe Booker and Kieran later. But how do you feel about those first 2 picks? And what would you give that grade for the draft?
Yeah, well, first off, big shout out to the comment section. I see hello, everybody's saying hello, so I want to make sure I say hello back. But no, I love the top 2 picks. I think the way I look at it is I'm old enough to remember all the busts, and you know what I mean. Like I've rode that roller coaster over the course of my life, so I look at this and I say they made the right decisions, because ultimately we all knew Caleb was going to be 1, and that's fine. And it was the first time in franchise history that they've picked number 1. Like I think that went very understated throughout the course of this entire draft process. It's like they never technically had the number 1 pick where they actually used the selection. Last year was the first time they ever received it. Obviously, they traded it away. They got this year's first, and then you turn around and actually use this year's first. Caleb Williams was the surefire number 1 pick. Great move there. That's a slam dunk. I think we all need to be thanking our lucky stars. I think Ryan Pace still loves the Bears at heart. I think he was in the ears of whoever he needed to be in the Atlanta front office for them to go take Penix instead of adding more weapons around Kirk Cousins. And Roma Dunze falls to number 9, and it's the perfect case scenario. You go out and you get a guy, and a lot of people are like, well, he's only going to be wide receiver 3 this season. That's fine. Realistically, though, going forward, there's a chance he's the number 2 next year if Keenan doesn't come back on any kind of contract. And then there's a chance he's the wide receiver 1 if DJ Moore ends up going somewhere else and getting more money than what the Bears are willing to pay him. So I think it's a perfect case scenario where he's going to learn from 2 of the best in the league. And we might be talking 4 or 5 years down the road that he's the number 1 receiver. And when it's all said and done, because maybe he had the tenure finally, maybe he goes down as the best Bears receiver in franchise history. I mean, that's kind of the territory we're looking at here. Obviously we hope this is not a situation like it was with Kevin White. I think that was a little different. A lot of that was injury related as well. So as long as Roma Dunze stays healthy, he's going to have the mentorship in that room that Kevin White never had as a top 10 receiver. I would say overall first 2 picks, A picks for me. It really went almost as perfectly as possible. For anybody that's curious, over on our On Tap Sportsnet YouTube channel, there's a clip from the draft night live stream we did of the Roma Dunze pick and the live reaction, and all you hear is bedlam on my side of the camera, because it's a big loud scream of just excitement, because it felt like they finally did something right. I mean, we've all seen it for years. I remember sitting in night class in college when Trubisky was drafted, and like all of us that were live streaming the draft during class all looked at each other like after the pick and we're like doing one of these, and then he was like, okay, let's break for 10 minutes, and all of us looked at each other like, what the hell just happened? So it's nice to see something that they went in, they did good work, and they ultimately, I think in all of our opinions, did exactly what we all hoped they would do. You gave Caleb another weapon, and you went out and got hopefully what could be the franchise quarterback the Bears have been searching for since Sid Luckman. And you can make maybe the little asterisk with Jay Cutler, since they decided just not to build around Jay Cutler because they thought he could do it by himself.
Yeah, he didn't really need an offensive line or anything. They're overrated.
So. You know, he had a couple of years there where his defense was bottom 10 in the league, you know.
I like the fact that one, they did the obvious, did the smart thing. They didn't try to for some reason, we have GMs who always try, the previous couple of GMs always want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Of course.
And here there's something, it's literally teed up. It's a 3-2 fastball down the middle. Like, don't expect the curve. Don't expect the slider. He's coming with it. He's trying to overpower you. And they just knocked it out of the park. That fact. And I love the fact that Rome Odunze is in a good spot. Actually, he's in a phenomenal spot. Because Rome Odunze is a first round, one of the best wide receivers to come out of college in a while. And he's going to be facing, at best, the number 3 cornerback on every NFL team. And that's at best. Because if someone's hurt, if someone's hurt, he's got the number 4 receiver or number 4 DB or the number 5 DB. And you're going to put a first round draft pick on a number 4 cornerback, a number 5 cornerback. I talk to you about what you think his production could be, because you still got to feed DJ Moore, you still got to feed Keenan Allen, you still got to feed Cole Kmet, you still don't want to put the weight of the passing game and of this offense and this franchise on the shoulders of Caleb Williams yet. Have all these weapons, and they did a great job of surrounding him. All right, in engulfing him in talent galore. Just turn around, hand the ball off, hit the short thing, but you still got studs. What do you think? What do you think the production is going to be for Rome Odunze?
I'm going to answer this 2 ways. One of which is assuming everybody stays healthy, right? If everybody stays healthy, like you said, you have multiple mouths to feed. You have to feed Keenan Allen. You have to feed DJ Moore. You have to feed Cole Kmet. You have to feed, DeAndre Swift at least a little bit in terms of the passing game out of the backfield, because that's what they brought him in to do, right? They brought him in because he is also pass catcher as well as a running back. I think assuming everybody is healthy, I'm probably looking at like 500 yards, maybe 550 for Rome Odunze. I think the touchdown numbers could be something to keep an eye on, because realistically, if there is those instances, like you said, where he's going to get a one-on-one matchup with a number 3 or number 4, number 5 corner, I think he can put up some touchdowns. I think we're looking at maybe a 6-7 touchdown season, perhaps, from a guy like Rome Odunze with maybe 500, 550 yards to complement that. But Keenan Allen has a very long track record of missing games in just about every season of his career. If that happens, I think we could be looking at Rome Odunze getting close to 1,000 yards. I don't think he's going to teeter over 1,000 in his rookie season, just because I think there's too many mouths to feed. But I think it's very possible that if Odunze gets thrust into that number 2 spot because of any injury to Allen or even knocking on any wood I can imaginably see right now in DJ Moore, he very well could be in that 850, 900 kind of range, I think, by season's end, with maybe close to 10 touchdowns as a result of it. So I think a lot of it's going to depend on health. But if we're assuming everybody's healthy, this is the year where we say, hey, the stats aren't going to look great. And it's not going to be because he's not a good player. It's just because there's so many mouths to feed on that offense, when was the last time we could say that? When Jeffrey and Marshall and Bennett were roaming the field at Soldier Field? Yeah, it's been a while. So,
and Forte, let's not forget Forte.
Yeah, it's been a while since this Bears offense has been loaded with this many weapons. So, hey, if he has a 550-yard year, I would call that a success, because it means he's growing, he's learning, and it also means everybody stayed healthy, and that's the best case scenario for your rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I love it. Guys, we're joined by Ron Luce from the On Tap Sportsnet, talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya on Sports Zone Chicago. I love it. I love the situation he's in. I also love the talk to me about, I know this sounds weird, but the punter and how important that plays, because this dude is a stud. I explained after they drafted, I explained how I play with a phenomenal punter in it. And the first game he played, I was warming up and I'm watching him kick, and the ball's hitting and taking a 90-degree angle right out of bounds. He landed at the 3, boom. He did it again, boom. to the left side, boom. And then he did a couple times. He did straight down the middle of the field and landed smack dab at like the 4-yard line, bounced straight up the ball, and then bounced, and stood it. I was like, how? And this was on turf. Dude, I said, how the hell did you do that? And he was a phenomenal weapon for us. Talk to you about what a weapon that can be and how that can help Caleb as well.
I was going to say, Shawn, I feel like people that have played football, even in high school and college, like if you've played some kind of football, like it's a lot easier to understand the value of a punter and what they can do for a team. In the case of the Bears, Taylor is a weapon because, like you said, he at Iowa was their offense effectively. Their offense was set our defense up in good field position to perhaps get a score and help us get on the board that way because they did not have an offensive unit last season. So in the case of the Bears, for those that are curious, you go, well, how does a punter really help this team? Well, unfortunately, I know Caleb texted him and said, you ain't going to be punting much. I hope that's the case. But let's be real, there's going to be games where they have to punt a lot. You have a top 6 statistical defense on the other side of that football. That if they're going to be backing teams up inside the 10 and 15 consistently as starting field position, eventually the defense is going to get something to happen because teams are going to have to force throws downfield. They're going to have to force into windows that they don't want to force into. And that's how you start to see this defense perform like they did in the second half last year once Sweat was acquired. You know, Jalen Johnson taking picks to the house, Tyreek Stevenson getting involved, Kyler Gordon coming out of the slot. Kevin Byard is a ball hawk of a safety that I think a lot of people just don't realize how much of a ball hawk he still is, even at 30, 31 years old. They are going to have such an advantage in terms of starting field position. And that alone helps your defense because your defense then can bend a little bit and not give up points every single drive because the other team's not starting at the 40 or the 45 or even the 35 every single time. That is going to flip the field routinely for this Bears defense. And then when the defense stands tall and the other team has to punt, you're giving your rookie quarterback a short field to work with going the other way. 40, 45-yard line starting field position.
Bingo. And
that is money for a young quarterback who doesn't need to drive 85, 90 yards routinely down the field on every single possession. So it really is such a game of flipping the field and field position. And Taylor did it consistently in college, and that Iowa team was respectable because of what he was able to do. You apply that to a Bears team that largely is considered by some a favorite in the NFC North.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be dangerous, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna get to the point where there's gonna be T-shirts start getting made about the crocodile punter. With Steve Irwin's cartoon face on it and Taylor right next to him, and they're both wrestling a gator inside the 10-yard line or something. It's gonna happen because everybody's gonna fall in love with the guy because Chicagoans, we love our black and blue football, right? We like our defenses, good special teams. Look at all the kickers and punt returners that are heralded in this city. Tory Taylor is going to become beloved by this fan base this year, and I think once people start seeing him in game action, that appreciation is going to amplify in terms of how much value he's going to bring to the team, and I think in turn how much love is going to be had by the fan base.
Yeah, and I'm liking you brought up a key point: short fields. You talk about if it's a 3 and out, and you got down inside the 10, and now you're punting from your end zone. All right, and any halfway decent return, even a shitty return, will get you on the plus side of the field. So now you get one first down, and now you could throw jump balls. You could throw jump balls to guys who could like to go get jump balls.
Mm-hmm.
Keenan Allen is only 6'5". All right, Roma Dunze only did it in college. DJ Moore is only being 6'1". He's showing he likes to go up and get it. Cole Kmet, he's only 6'5". So you got a squad of guys who from the 25 or 30-yard line in, you could just throw it up and have him go get it. And all that started because your punter punted him deep, your defense 3 and outed him, you had a short field, you had one first down, and boom, all of a sudden it's 7-0. Or I shouldn't say there's 7 points on the board for the Bears. And I see that happening often, Ron. I said 10 to 15 times will we punt and kick and pin a team inside the 10-yard line. At minimum 10 to 15. I said 15 to 20 throughout the whole season. There'll be 20 times where he punts the ball and we have it inside the 10. And that is going to be amazing for this defense, amazing for this offense, amazing for this team.
And just wait until, we're all sitting here talking about short field for Caleb Williams. Just wait until that forces the team to throw one to Jalen Johnson on the other side and he takes it to the house. I mean, that's going to happen too routinely because, again, you put pressure on a team when they're backed up deep in their own territory, and that's when mistakes happen.
And you mentioned I wanted to talk to me how important it is that Caleb has already been introduced to the offense. All right. His quarterback coach was good friends with Shane Waldron. He talked about they've already got a lot of the terminology down, the cadence down, all these things. How is that going to help Caleb Williams when the veterans come in? Talk about how important it is that he's got a head start. And the Bears truly have a head start because they started already. They're going to start earlier because they're in the Hall of Fame game, so they get to practice earlier.
Yep.
Talk to me on how that helps Caleb Williams and this team.
It's astronomical. I mean, it's just like anything else you do in life. The more you do something, the more reps you get, the better you're going to get at it. And it's the exact same way with being a field general, right? It's different for a quarterback than it is for every other position on the field because every other position on the field, a receiver might just need to know what the receivers are all doing on each play and knowing who's running what routes on what calls. For an offensive line, it's understanding how we block protections, how we block in the run game. If it's zone blocking, if it's slide left, slide right protection, no matter what it ends up being. That's all a little more simple. And running back, maybe one of the easier positions as a rookie to learn because it's either I'm getting the ball, I'm going out on some kind of pass pattern, or I'm sitting in and hopefully upending a linebacker that's coming on a blitz. As a quarterback, you need to know all of that and be able to call it, with composure in the huddle and get out there and take care of business. It's more reps. And honestly, again, just like anything, if you're studying for a test, if you're, trying to get better in your golf game like I am, the more reps you can get, the better. If I could sit out there on the driving range 5 days a week and hit my 5-iron, 500 times, it's probably going to become one of my best clubs. Same thing goes for what Caleb Williams is doing here with the playbook. The more he gets to learn it, and that might give him some opportunity, maybe not early in the season, but more later in the season. There probably will be opportunities if he is truly comfortable with the playbook where Shane Waldron and this offensive staff say, hey, if you see something, go ahead and check out of it. If you don't like what the play call is, make a small check. If you see them coming and bringing pressure, go ahead and throw that quick slant to the outside to one of your big receivers. Or, hey, if you see them flailing deep and they're dropping 8 and it's 3rd and 4, go ahead and hit the draw play to Swift and just see what we can get on 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 3. Once he gets that comfortability, that's all going to become a part of the playbook. And you don't get that comfortability if you just walk in on day one of the veterans and start learning the playbook. And I bet you they gave him the playbook at the friggin' combine and started saying, hey, get a little familiar with these just in case we take
Not saying we're going to take you, but we're going to,
we might
legally say that.
We might trick you. So, I mean, he's had a plethora of time to get into this playbook and study. And again, you saw what he did at USC. That's also having an understanding of the playbook and how the offense is run in order to make those plays that he was making. So, again, it's just like anything else in life. The more reps you have at it, the better you're going to get. And in Caleb Williams' case, the NFL did the Bears an absolute service by saying, we're going to play you in the Hall of Fame game. And even the Bears offensive staff is probably like, more reps. That's great. We like those. So I love it for him, and I love it for the Bears offense because it just means more possibilities throughout the season. It's not going to be a simple playbook day one. They're probably going to open up, 75, 80% of the playbook, in game number 1 at Soldier Field against the Titans when September rolls around.
How soon do you think they take the training wheels off? That he's got this because here's the awesome part. He's got access to, or he received access to this playbook early. Okay. He was working with the receivers. Interesting how Roma Dunze was there when he was working, but I'm not going to get into my conspiracy theories.
What do you mean conspiracy theories, Shawn? I don't know what you're talking about.
They got the Hall of Fame game. Okay, so now they're playing, so they get to practice before everyone else. They get to play before everyone else. And they also have Tennessee first. Houston could be a tough game. Indianapolis, 100%. Los Angeles, Carolina, Jacksonville. We take a rest. Then you have Washington, have Arizona, and you have the Patriots. 9 games of subpar teams to get all the wrinkles out, in addition to the early start. How soon do you think Caleb picks this up and they say they take the training wheels off, because we don't face a division opponent until week 11?
Yeah, which is a huge change from the last couple of years where we saw teams like Green Bay and even Minnesota pretty early in the season.
Yeah.
I think the biggest, and I love Barlissimo's comment here about the West Coast offense, or as he says, the WCO. He says it has a lot more answers against zone than air raid does in NFL, 100%. And I think once the offensive staff starts hearing Williams pipe up during film studies and say, hey, I noticed here that, the defense ran X, Y, and Z. Can I check the X, Y, and Z in this situation? And they go, that's a good observation. Yes, you can. As soon as he starts doing that, that's when the training wheels come off. It's having that next level of understanding in the playbook. When do I think that's going to happen? That's a great question. I think we'll get a lot of those answers in the preseason. I really do. And it might not be things that we as fans can just quickly analyze and notice right away. It might require a lot of film study to see some of those things. For example, I did a little bit of film study myself over the weekend for one of the games I called, because I swore the quarterback threw a no-look pass, and sure enough, I got my answer. Once the offensive staff starts hearing Caleb say that kind of stuff, hey, I noticed they checked the cover 3 here. I'm going to check a quick out here and just take the 10 yards. And they're like, well, yeah, no, that's exactly what you should do. That will be when the training wheels come off. If I had to make a bet, if you gave me an over-under by, we'll say that week 10, because of the division game starting in week 11, I would say under. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe by that Carolina game, maybe by
because they do have that week off, and that bye week really helps. Like, okay, now we can. Any questions you have to this point? Well, yeah, I'm confused with this. Okay, good. Boom, 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 boom. We can work it out. We don't have a game this week. We have all this stuff. I think you're right, Ron. I said week 10. I said after week 10, so I said probably by week 10. I think they're ready, and they'll be ready to roll into the division. And God forbid that this team hits all cylinders. The offense. God forbid this offense hits most of its cylinders, not even all cylinders, most of its cylinders. This is, to me, as I said repeatedly, the most important acquisition this offseason was Shane Waldron. Talk to me about him and his ability and how he's going to help Caleb, because I think that match, and personally, when they signed him, I thought, okay, this is for Justin. This is a guy who's worked with veterans, whatever. Okay. Talk to me how this match with Shane Waldron and Caleb Williams, how that's going to play out, in your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Waldron in general, coming into this offseason, myself and Quentin Crisco talked about it over at Bears on Tap. It was a very rare hire, because very rarely do you see an established coaching staff like Seattle just kind of fall apart the way it did because Pete Carroll retired. I think he was kind of pushed out, but that's neither here nor there. Where these guys become available the way they did. Waldron has an extensive background in terms of he's worked with Sean McVay on those staffs in Los Angeles. He was there when they had Jared Goff as a rookie, or at least as a young quarterback, I should say. And then he transitioned over to Seattle. I believe he crossed paths with Russ for 1 year.
He did 1 year.
And then Geno came in. So they kind of had to go through the same thing with Geno in terms of, a project quarterback. I hate that term, but we'll call him a journeyman in this case. Coming in, what he did. I think that overall, it's going to be really beneficial having a guy like Waldron because of the level of intelligence that he's worked with in the NFL, right? He's not a guy that had 1 year as an OC and he's never called plays, right? That's typically what you get as an offensive coordinator, because these guys have to move up. Look at Atlanta. Atlanta's a good example of that, right? Raheem Morris leaves as the defense coordinator from LA. Then he brings Zach Robinson with him, which is a great hire, but Zach Robinson never called plays. So that's a whole other thing that he's going to have to learn in Atlanta as a part of that new coaching staff. At the end of the day, Waldron knows how to call an offense. Waldron's done it before. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have been like, well, he didn't use Jackson Smith and Jigba correctly in year one and all this. They had to. Seattle's offensive line was horrible. So he had to bring in 3 tight ends to keep his quarterback safe. With a, in my opinion, better offensive line in Chicago, maybe not marginally better, but better. There should be a lot more ability to get Caleb in the right positions. And I think at the end of the day, Waldron coming in as he's not necessarily one of Eberflus's guys. You know, they might have a relationship being NFL coaches and everything, but he's going to come in and just say, hey, this is my offense, and this is what I think is going to work. And at the end of the day, this is what we're going to go do. And I think you saw a lot of that in terms of what they brought in this offseason, right? You brought in Gerald Everett, who has worked in 2 stops with Shane Waldron offensively at the tight end spot, not only to help a guy like Cole Kmet learn the system, but also to be another safety blanket for Caleb Williams. You have DeAndre Swift, who is a much better zone running back than, you know, most of the guys that were available are. He comes in, and that's kind of a scheme fit in a lot of ways in terms of thinking what the Seattle Seahawks did with their running backs. And then on top of that, you go get a veteran like Keenan Allen, who's going to pick this offense up like it's nothing. You have DJ Moore already there. So I think it was truly the best case scenario getting a guy like Waldron, because rarely are these guys available in just any random offseason. It was just kind of a special instance coming out of Seattle. So I think for Williams, what he's going to do is he has a plethora of NFL knowledge. This is not a first-time OC. That confidence as a seasoned veteran per se in terms of NFL coaching is, I think, going to bleed confidence into Caleb Williams to understand the playbook, to not get rattled, because he's been through it, because he's dealt with it, and he's got guys on that offense that have been in the system before. So I think ultimately at the end of the day, that's what it's going to be for them is, you know, he's a veteran head coach. It's not a first-time play caller. He knows how to call a game. He knows how to scheme an opponent. And I think just that alone is going to benefit Caleb Williams, because he's not coming in and learning how to be, you know, an offensive player in the NFL with a brand new, you know, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed OC like Luke Getsy was when he was hired by the Chicago Bears.
Or Matt Nagy when he was hired by the Chicago Bears.
Exactly, right. Guys that had never really didn't have a lot of play calling experience. Waldron has, we know for sure, at least Waldron has called plays for 2 years in Seattle. I mean, that's 1 year in Seattle. But that's a big deal. At least he's got that year under his belt. And, you know, I'm sure he learned a lot. Look at just the guys that he's worked with. Dave Canales, who then went to, you know, Tampa to be their OC. Now he's going to be the head coach in Carolina. Sean McVay, you know, brainiac wonder boy of the NFL. I mean, these are great coaches that he's worked with and has that experience with. And he's been in multiple different positions. They've worked with young quarterbacks. They've worked with journeyman veterans. He's seen it all. And when you get a guy that's been around the block a couple times, I mean, we know how that goes just with anything in life. It bleeds a sense of confidence that I don't think the offensive staff for the Chicago Bears has had in quite a while.
Quite a long time, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that was so unbear-like is getting the experienced play caller, which is why I called Shane Waldron the most important acquisition this offseason. Let's go to the defense on in the other side of the ball. All right, Coach Eberflus, smooth as anything. He's part of the Beard Gang now. It looks like 007 at the Bears Gala. I was kind of impressed. I'm like, damn,
that's a different human being now.
Yeah, he's like Flus, Eberflus. I'm like, okay, I see you. And
defensive specialist.
Yeah. And I liked it. And so talk to me about his. So now he's got his defense is almost, I say his defense is playoff ready. I don't know if it's Super Bowl. I don't think it's Super Bowl ready. But talk to me about this defense and how dominant you're going to be because of the addition of Eric Washington.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what Washington brings to the defense, because we already know that Eberflus is going to call this defense again. And this defense was increasingly better once he was calling the defense. And I don't think that's a bad thing. We see all these coaches in the NFL call offenses, and we think it's just second nature. And then somebody goes and says, oh, well, our head coach is going to call the defense. Everybody's like, well, that's not going to work in the NFL. Why the hell not? It's the same thing. It's just a different side of the ball. at the end of the day, I really like where, Eric Washington as just an experienced hire, I think is huge, right? Alan Williams didn't have the same pedigree in the NFL as a guy like Washington does. And Washington's worked in quite a few different places. He's worked in Buffalo with a defense that saw a lot of turnover over the last handful of years just because of the salary cap. And now this year, especially, I mean, they look like a completely different unit on that side of the ball. I really like just the addition from an experience standpoint. I think you're going to get different looks. Eberflus is going to not necessarily have to be the only guy that's, putting together a defensive game plan now. He's going to have Washington there to help do that with him. And sometimes just two minds is greater than one on a certain side of the ball. And I think that's going to be great for this defense because you look at what they have already. I think Gervon Dexter, I saw somebody in the chat said 7+ sacks for Gervon Dexter this year. And maybe it's right about 7, but that's an incredible year if Gervon Dexter's putting up those kind of numbers. Obviously, we know what Montez Sweat can be and how he changed that defense single-handedly, once he was traded for at the deadline. We're gonna see hopefully some growth then because, like Berlissimo says here, Bill's defensive lineman. It's development of that D line. There's a lot of young defensive linemen on this Bears team, right? Pickens is entering that second year. Gervon Dexter's entering that second year. Austin Booker's entering his first year. And I really like Austin Booker, by the way, for anybody.
And he's that was the next topic. We'll talk about him. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. But so, you have that young D line that's going to be coached up by a guy like Washington. And then you have everything else in place. I would make the argument. I know we all love Eddie Jackson. This is not a shot at Eddie Jackson, but Eddie Jackson lost a step after that injury that he suffered in 2022. He just didn't look like the same player anymore as a ball hawking safety. Bayard's going to be that ball hawking safety again. And then you run it back with guys like Jaquan Brisker and your 3 big corners. And I mean, you can make argument for big corners. I think Terrell Smith played really well as a 5th-round pick in year 1 in the NFL. They have tons of DB depth. They have tons of linebacking depth. As long as freaking Edmonds can stay healthy, Jay Grizz said Edmonds is the key. I think Edmonds staying healthy is a huge aspect of that. But, Edwards was arguably one of the most underrated linebackers in football a year ago.
Yep.
That defense was humming in that second half of the season. And I think we can expect a lot of that and even maybe more because of the addition of Eric Washington. It's going to be really, really exciting to watch this defense play this year. And I think this is a defense that we saw was a top 6 unit in just about every statistical category a year ago. I think they could be even better this year and be maybe closer to that top 3 than top 6 in most categories in the NFL this year.
I agree. Guys, we're joined by Ron Luce from the On Tap Sportsnet talking Bears football here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. What do you think they do in free agency? Are you think they go into the pool one more time and get an edge? There's still some names out there, or do you think they're going to platoon with Booker, who we like? We're going to talk about in a second, or DeMarcus Walker.
I think they're going to kick the tires. I think when you really will start to see them potentially make an addition is when cuts start to happen. I think they're really banking on one of these veterans that maybe just lost a half a step, or they added some new youth and they want cap flexibility, so they cut a guy after training camp. I think they're waiting for that to happen because right now the biggest name that's available is Yannick Ngakoue. And we all know what Yannick was in Chicago. Even with Sweat opposite of him, his numbers didn't drastically improve as the opposite edge rusher. So now, granted, if he wants to come on a $2 million deal for one season, sure, cool. Yeah, add him his depth. It doesn't hurt to have. But I think if he's looking for that, whatever he got paid last year, what was it, $10 million for 1 year? He's not getting that again, not at least from the Bears. So I think.
Are you good with 5? And Ngakoue, are you good with 5?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I think it really just.
So you're closer to 3-ish, huh?
Yeah, I would give him 3 to 4. Maybe is probably the highest I would go for Ngakoue personally. I just think you're going to have some good looks, and I don't want personally. If I'm the Bears, I don't want to cloud up that other DN position that much. It's one thing to have a guy that maybe is a situational guy that comes in on 3rd down, and that's why I think they can really get that kind of guy once some of these cuts happen in camp. Because Walker's a great run down defensive end. Like that's what he was brought in to do, and he did it very well a season ago.
Sets the edge perfectly. Yep.
Exactly. And that allows your Billings and those guys to eat up inside blockers, so that way your linebackers are free and they can make those plays that they need to make. And then when a passing down comes, you can kick Walker inside, and he's a really good interior rusher, which is what his value is and why he wasn't, a cap casualty this year with that 2-year deal where a lot of guys get cut after that first year. I think the best case scenario is allowing Booker to be kind of that rush end in a lot of situations early in the season. And then as the season goes on, allowing him and Walker to be more of a true platoon where it doesn't matter if it's first, second, or third down. Both of them can be on the field at any given time, or maybe both of them are on the field at the same time. And it gives just different looks for this defensive line. Because Austin Booker, by many NFL analysts and many, people that pay a lot of attention to the draft, building the board guys here at On Tap that did a great job on that project this year, had Austin Booker's a 3rd round value. Bears got him in the 5th round. I mean, that in itself feels like a steal. He's a guy that Daniel Jeremiah said at the draft, yeah, he's a little raw just because he hasn't played a lot of football. But a lot of people said if he had gone back to Kansas this year and continued on that ascent that he was taking throughout the course of last year, people were thinking he could have been a late 1st round pick in a year from now. That's a hell of a value to get in year 5. And now that you have an Eric Washington in the building to help develop young defensive linemen, this is where Austin Booker, I don't want to block Austin Booker if I'm the Bears. If you can bring in a depth guy that just adds just further cushion to that defensive line in case there's injury, cool. I think that's a great move. But blocking Austin Booker, I don't think is the right move because I think he's going to surprise a lot of people as a 5th round ad this year. There's a reason they traded a 4th rounder next year to come back in and get him because nobody thought he was going to be available that late in the draft. The Bears were happy to go in, happy to take him. And, I saw somebody a little bit earlier that said, he's just a little bit of a longer arm version of Leatu Latu. If that's the case, you can make the argument then that he has the potential of becoming one of the best pass rushers to come out of this draft. And that's high praise with guys like Dallas Turner and some of these other guys coming in as rookies this year. So I'm for adding a low, kind of low risk move at the defensive end position. I don't think it's going to be as big of a concern where they need to go out and pay a guy $10 million for one season to be opposite of Montez Sweat now, because when they originally got Yannick, it was with the intention of you are the premier pass rusher on this defensive line. That's why they paid him $10 million.
Yeah.
Then they go out and get Sweat, and it's like, well, now we don't need you to be that premier guy because we have that premier guy on the other side. You need to just be good enough on the opposite side. And truly, I think a platoon of Walker and Booker with maybe a low scale veteran that comes in, you can kind of rotate all 3 of them because then you can kick Walker inside as well. I think that will be just enough to get production out of that defensive end spot. And then best case scenario, Austin Booker develops at least, it might not be linear, but as long as he's up here by the end of the season after starting down here in terms of progression, you're looking at next year having him as your surefire guy opposite of Montez Sweat on this defensive line.
Your thoughts on him and when we signed him, and it's obviously before, or we went back and drafted him. I was ecstatic. I was just ecstatic because I was asking for a one-trick pony, and I watched his tape, and I'm like, wow, it's like he's a little light frame, and but that's okay. I'm like, he has time to put on pounds in the NFL. He's not going anywhere.
100%.
If for his first year he gives me the one-trick pony, he gives me the Mark Anderson, I am happy as a pig in slop. And then you could put let's not forget he's working with Eric Washington. Let's not forget he's going to put on weight. Let's not forget he's working with Montez Sweat. He's having, you talk about the expertise and the guidance and the knowledge that he's going to get in his first year. I see him as a potential one-trick pony year 1, but after year 1, hell, maybe by the end of year 1, he's no longer a one-trick pony. He might be able to set the edge. He might be able to stop us from drafting an edge high in the draft next year, because next year's edge class is going to be pretty good. I really like this guy, and when I saw him after the draft, when he came out at rookie OTAs, and we saw highlights of film, like, whoa, he's been in the weight room. He's been in the weight room a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I like that, as long as he can maintain his speed, his explosiveness, and his elusiveness, because he likes that dip. He likes to dip that shoulder. Man, how many times we saw offensive lineman go to punch, he dips, swing underneath it. Offensive like, oh damn, sack. Just I like it. I'm really I see him as I said, a one-trick pony for much of the season, but I think toward the end he could be a heck of a lot more. And man, if you don't have to go get a defensive end next year in the first round, and you could and there comes a stud left tackle, or there, you know what I mean? There, what weaknesses do you see left on this defense?
On the defense, I think the biggest weakness is just defensive line depth. And that's why I was going to make the statement too when you were saying, because I agree. I had the same reaction when they got Booker in the 5th round. When I saw that they traded back up and they kind of didn't announce the pick on the broadcast, and I was like, who the hell did they take?
Yeah, it came across and I was like, wait.
And then they showed it and I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Because I ended up, in a lot of my kind of mock drafts, I had Booker as the 3rd round pick for the Bears in a lot of my mock drafts. So I was very excited to see him fall there at 5 because of all the reasons you said. I think that's a perfect way to put it. He can come in year 1. He doesn't have to be a complete defensive end, but he can learn from a good veteran in Walker, a great coach in Washington, and another great player on the opposite side in Montez Sweat, and how to turn into a complete defensive end in the NFL, and that can come in time. He doesn't need to do that year 1. But if you look at the best, if you look at the best guys or best teams, pardon me, in the league, they all have astronomical defensive depth, and especially on the D line. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles are a great example of that. They roll like 8-9 guys deep and have comfortability with all 8 or 9 of those guys being on the field at any given moment. I wouldn't be mad if the Bears used a 1st round pick next year on a defensive lineman, especially if there's an elite 3 technique hanging out in the 1st round, a guy very similar to this year that would have been like a Byron Murphy, where he could be a disruptor. He can be that next level player because you get that player next to Montez Sweat in a defense where the 3 technique is the single most important position. And for Bears fans that don't understand me, think of the Henry Melton Pro Bowl days for the Bears. Think of the Tommy Harris Pro Bowl days for the Bears. Think of what
Warren Sapp did for the Bucks.
Yeah, what Warren Sapp did for the Bucks. And even think about what, over the last couple of years what DeForest Buckner did down in Indy. That 3 technique spot is hugely important to the Tampa 2 inspired defense. If you can go get that guy in the 1st round next year, or even another edge rusher just to add as more depth and make this D-line even more just dominant than it already could be. Because if the quarterback doesn't have time to make good decisions, that's when all your ball hawks in the secondary and at the linebacking spots get to pick guys off. And then we get those cool pick sixes that we got to see a few times this year. I think that is the one spot on the defense I would continue to add. You have linebacker locked up and you're good to go there. You have DB locked up now and you're good to go there. Maybe a free safety, just get a younger guy in to kind of learn in year 2 behind in Byron's 2nd year, pardon me. But if you can go out and go get another D lineman and just make this defensive line even stronger than it already is, that's what I would do. I think that's the biggest quote unquote weakness in this Bears defense.
I can see what you're putting down there, because now you got, and especially if Gervon Dexter takes that step forward and then you go get another 3 tech, and Gervon might be in his feelings, but you're like, nah, dog, look, this helps you.
I was gonna say, and then Gervon can bounce between the 3 and the 1 then, because he's so big.
That, and not just that, but guess what? You're fresh.
Yep,
you're fresh.
Make a lot more plays when you're fresh.
A hell of a lot more, especially late in the games, because you played half your snaps, approximately half your snaps. And this offensive lineman, you don't switch offensive linemen for the most part in a game. Those 5 are those 5 unless someone gets hurt. All right. And now you're fresh in the 3rd quarter, in the 4th quarter against this guy who's been going against 2 different guys. So now he's got to work on your strengths and he's got to work on the other guy's strengths. And God forbid he get one wrong, one play, boom, there you go. And now there's a sack and a important down. So, and now we're starting to look like the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line. And that to me is super, super exciting. Ron.
And that's when this defense becomes Super Bowl caliber, when they can start to do stuff like that.
Bingo. Man, great stuff today, man. As always, this is why I definitely wanted to talk Bears with you, man. Do me a favor before you go, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, so I am at Loose on Tap on the socials. You can find all of my work over at ontapsportsnet.com, at ontapsportsnet on the socials. I'm over on Bears on Tap. You can find me on the Four Feathers podcast if you're a big Blackhawks fan. If you like the Chicago Cubs, I'm sorry, White Sox fans, I can't help you there. But you can find me at Cubs on Tap. But the Sox on Tap guys do a great job covering the Southsiders. And even though they claim that my alter ego is Southside Ron, I don't know who that is. He comes out once in a while. But I have no recollection of it because he comes and then he goes and everybody's like, did you understand what just happened? And I'm like, no, I didn't see what happened because he took over my brain. I don't know who that is. But no, you can find me on tapsportsnet.com and all the crazy work that I'm putting in over on that side of the house. But again, at least on tap on the socials is where you can find me personally.
Jay Grizz, don't stop that blasphemy. Do not blaspheme on this. Stop it, Jay Grizz.
Hey, it's okay. They're coming off a really terrible weekend, Shawn. So I'm a little down on my Cubbies right now.
Wasn't it one win between 6 games with both teams this weekend? Did you lose
two wins? Oh, between the Sox and the Cubs? Yeah. I think it's one win.
We got our asses handed to us. The Yankees were like, boop, get out, sit down.
Yeah, well, you were in the Bronx too. I feel like home field advantage for certain teams plays, and Yankees are one of them. So, it happens to the best of us.
4-game winning streak. Oh my God, that's so cute. Sit down. That's what I feel they did right now. Not just on our forehead, just like
stop it. It's like when you flick your dog in the nose, and he's like, "What did I
do?" Dude, great stuff, man. We'll be in touch soon, man. You have a great day. Thanks, Ron.
You too, Shawn. Always a pleasure, man. Take care.
All righty. Guys, that's Ron Luce from the On Tap Sportsnet talking Bears football with me. And I'm excited. The season is it can't get here fast enough. But again, enjoy it. Be where your feet are at. And all right, now we'll see. Is there any? And I think Ron's right. Maybe they're gonna wait for some cuts. All right, because if you see a veteran, because you may see a veteran who gets cut because there's the promise of a rookie, or the rookie looks good, get a little cap flexibility. Okay, that'll happen. That could happen, and that could be the type of dude that we need. And what if it's a dude who, if it's a veteran making a good amount of money, and he's cut? Okay, you tell me what veteran wouldn't want to come here? Wouldn't want to come to play for this defense? First of all, you got a head coach that players want to run through a wall for. Okay, they whatever Eberflus is putting down, they're picking up. Okay, then he's got an Andrew Billings at the 1 tech. Then he's got a Gervon Dexter at the 3 tech. Then he's got Montez Sweat on the other side. So he's like, man, how many double teams am I going to get? Because I got a guy who each double teams in Billings, collapsing the pocket. We're expecting the big breakout year from Gervon Dexter, so he might get some double teams unless they want the pocket collapsing from the inside. And then I have another stud on the outside in Montez Sweat, who they're probably going to have to double team because he's going to get multiple sacks on a weekly basis if we don't. You only have 5 offensive linemen. You don't want to leave a tight end in all the time. So if I'm a veteran, I can easily see a veteran coming or saying, I want to go to Chicago. A quality one. All right. I may not make the $15 million I'm making there, but I can make 7, 8, depending on who he is, maybe 10. I mean, I wouldn't give Yannick Ngakoue 10. But there's a chance that you can get a guy. So, and believe me, if you're a veteran making a good amount and you get cut in camp, all right, there's a lifestyle you got to live. You got to lead. The missus has a lifestyle. The kids have a lifestyle. So you might not make 15 mil, but if they offer you 7 or 8, 6, 7 or 8, with a chance to reach the playoffs and be a playoff team, that could, and be a part of a defense that's really, really, really on the rise, man. So I am excited to see what they what happens, what they do in the free agent market, or do they just wait until till camp comes and you get camp cuts? either way, Ryan position. Because if he wants to roll with DeMarcus Walker and Booker, I'm okay with that too. I am okay with that too. So we'll see. We will see. Man, 2 hours is come and gone. Man, what a phenomenal show. Man, the show is dedicated to our guy, Chris Washington. C Sharp, as many of you know him, the producer over there at the Nomad Network. When I do the collaboration, when Sports Zone Chicago and Nomad Network get together, talking Bears, he produces all those shows, him and Brian in the back. Just want to, so rest in peace, my friend. All right, rest in peace. I will be replaying this show tonight at 6, so you can catch it at 6. All right, no Daily Bears talk with sports with SuperBack and Nomad not until Wednesday. That'll be Wednesday at 1 o'clock. And I will be back on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Guys, have a phenomenal day. It's supposed to be 80 today. Temperatures are gonna drop, but it's supposed to be. Let me see real quick. Damn, high 85 again today. Whoo, it's 81 already. So high out here in Chicago, in the burbs. In Chicago, it's going to be a little cooler. Yeah, man, 76 by the lake. Whoo, Charlie. Man, that's almost a 10-degree difference. No. It's going to be 84. It just gets cooler later. Okay. But enjoy the beautiful day here in Chicago. I'm telling you, man, have a great week, everybody. House Music Monday. My man, Luis Mejia. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Levette Lee, Till Hump Day Ma. Thank you very much. Mashawn. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Godspeed, Chris. Definitely. Be smooth. No, we appreciate the work you do, man. Appreciate it. Jay Grizz in the house. Except for your Cubs nonsense. Thank you. Oh, man, I'm just messing with you. You know I am. But I will see you guys on Wednesday. Man, have a great day. Reach out to the people that you love, man. You know, as we get older, slowly but surely, every year there seems to be one less person in our lives that was there the previous year. So let's do that. All right. So thank you, everyone here. Thank you from everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago. Elliot Baez, our executive producer, Clarence Council, our social media guy, Maya Kai, my co-host in absentia, and me, your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Guys, have a phenomenal day. I got to go pick up the warden, and I am going to take a nap. Just restart the week. I need a mulligan. I need a mulligan. All right, guys. Take care, folks. I will see you on Wednesday. Your boy, the SuperBack. I am out.